Okay. What going on, everybody? David Mitchell here, voice of Autism, episode 108. And, whew, been a crazy week for YouTube and a lot of crap been going on. If you've been witnessing to talk about COPA, let's just say some crazy shit been happening. And COPA have gone too far. Well, you gotta remember when net neutrality was in, there was a reason why we had net neutrality. If to stop shit like this from happening, there was a reason why Obama put net neutrality in, because he seen shit like this was going to happen. So, think about Donald Trump or removing a law that would stop bullshit like this from happening, you fucked it up for YouTubers. And now, COPA, instead of going after corporations, they're making it harder for us YouTuber content creators to make videos. And you gotta know, I mark myself as not kid friendly. I'm mine remotely exactly 100% adult in a way, but YouTube should have stopped and took it up instead of letting shit like this happen. Because it was fucked up that should have never fucking happened. Literally. And with what's going on, stuff like this, if we don't stop this, there can be a bad thing. Look, because we did not stop Article 13 from happening, because of that, shit like it happening. And we need to stop it before really bad crap happen. And I mean bad. Like, literally. I warned about Article 13, and now because we did not took that warning, we kind of got fucked in the ass, literally. Like, it's crazy, but if we had took that warning and took Article 13 serious, none of this fucking shit right here would be happening. So for people out there that nah, they don't affect me, you are bloody buffoon idiots for that. But we just had to stand up to corporations long ago. And I support YouTube, but what YouTube did, they really fucked up their content creators. And with COPA or the SEC, they're going too far. And though parenting company or organization, or what they called again, 1 minute guys, sorry. Though movements or like, you guys know I'm activist, but I don't support narcissistic activists who want people to treat our people like this, or like all the same. Except if it involved for freedom and equal rights. I'm talking about the parents who want every kid to be treated the same and want every kid to act the same. Those type of parents. And they are one who went to the SEC complaining about shit and caused COPA to do the bullcrap. If it weren't for those narcissistic, toxic parents, None of it would be happening either. So we can blame it on Article 13, YouTube bragging about a kid on the site. We can blame it on the toxic, narcissistic parents out there who are part of the movement, and corporations. Those four we can blame. I'm sorry because I am a YouTuber, but this right here take the cake. Like literally. It's bad. Now I'm gonna fight until I probably die. And I don't mean like by getting my voice out there and calling it out for what it is. A infringement on the Constitution or freedom of speech. Because when you regulate somebody's voice online, it's like we count I regulated their voice of freedom of speech. And technically, I've been saying to China electorate of the internet being controlled and eventually losing our freedom. And narcissistic parents, my parents, but if it weren't for the narcissistic parents, none of that shit would be happening. The thing about narcissistic parents and toxic parents, they will do anything to stop voices from getting out. And some of the narcissistic and toxic parents don't like their kids on YouTube. Don't like them seeing stuff online. They better have their kid working like a slave or like clean the house, clean the bathroom 24/7 while they did like that, relaxing. Those type of parents are one who are to blame. Because I had a friend who had a narcissistic and toxic mom in high school. And he finally got away from her after he asked for emancipation. He asked for emancipation when he was 16 to get out of the toxic environment. And also, she got arrested for child labor. When you treat your kid like they're your own butler, get where you end up, jail. But in this day and age, that is accepted in something saying discipline and in how you build better character and say it work. No, it's actually child enslavement or child labor. We know what you're up to. And here's saying the same thing that YouTube and all the fucking mess with COPA and the FCC. My friend mom was a part of one of them organizations or right movements. So yeah. If they try to come after me, I will go after them. Like take them to court, degrade them, and probably create a movement where COPA will have be dismantled for no choice, and then a whole new thing about a tech kid be made. But this time with parent psychiatrists and people who know how toxic parents and toxic people act, running that to know what is going on. Because the whole thing, if we have people who are psychiatrists parent psychiatrists all working there who can tell when the parents are narcissistic and want that bad to happen and want all kids to be treated like that kid or to don't like that kids are being able to have a voice out there. We need psychiatrists to stop the parent from doing this type of crap right here. And the corporations. Because look, YouTube was better when it would not run had corporations influence in it. It was a lot better. But nope. It the dang on corporations. YouTube it had some fault, but they got cocky and had their pants down. So, and like how not to use something that you accidentally or we probably not did. Well, I had a feeling what happened right here because I think the blacketing was set up to take YouTube down. I think it was a setup because of how it was set up in a way. Literally, I think it was because the Nazis set up and blamed it on Jews, and then they started doing a lot of horrible stuff. But yeah, and one for that, I guarantee there would be a lot better stuff and bad stuff would quit happening. But yeah, but I made mine up, and I know for a fact it's not child friendly. Even the rail fan video, because those freight cars on those trains, some of them have them evocative graffiti on them that are inappropriate. So I would not be putting those as child friendly with a graffiti that are inappropriate. So I can even bring it up in court saying, look, my rail fan video, the graffiti on that is provocative on some of those trains and they're inappropriate. So you are really making up that adult thing with stuff like that for child. And I said, you're exactly putting my stuff out there, and I have proof that it's up on the train is provocative. So you're really putting the limit. So yeah. So it's up and I have to agree on think about. But yeah. But it's been a fucking crazy week. And a lot of people are finally taking notice and telling the SEC to fuck off with it and calling it unconstitutional. Even people who are lawyer who speak on stuff that it infringing on the Constitution and are not right are speaking out about it, calling COPA out for what they're doing is wrong. And found out that there have been some collusion with them and some people who work in the Chinese Communist Party. So the SEC have been infiltrated by Chinese. So because there are rumors going around that one of the people who were higher up in COPA, in the law, who made in COPA law, is working for with Chinese. So technically, that illegal and it's collusion, meaning that could be a federal offense and a life in prison. And if this thing, it will be sanctioned on China, but yeah. So if I were people who are running to so, I would say to them to back the fuck off, or we're going to get you caught red-handed. And I'm talking to you, Copa. And Burton at the SEC who would talk about to them fish it in a barrel. There were rumors that he is technically making deal with Chinese. So yeah, there are a lot of shit going on. But it's something we don't need to laugh about. We need to call out the FCC for what they're doing is wrong, and tell them they don't need to be going after it. They need to be going after the corporations. But yeah, the corporations have gone way too far, and it did effing sickening. But I'm calling out for what it is. Disgusting, horrible, and I mean horrible stuff that need to be called out for. If you guys know what I mean. But yeah, until if we don't keep it up, it's only a matter of time before our freedoms are taken. Not just for me, but for autistics. Ooh, now it's something that it better talk about activists in our country fighting for right of freedom, because the thing is that an autistic, we're gonna see and we'll go after us to shut our voices up. So yeah, if we don't want to lose our voices, we gotta fight back. But it's something that do involve autism too, because it will probably F up stuff that go on with Now what gets you to her, Jane?
For the first time, disability rights are a major campaign issue.
Mm-hmm.
November 20th, 2019, 10:36 a.m. Robin Powell. The notable attention from 2020 candidates, especially so early in the election season, comes as a welcome change.
Mm-hmm.
While disability rights activism is not new, the coverage these protests received was unprecedented, and all the while, advocates were speaking for themselves en masse on social media, shifting the lens to bring the voices of those with disabilities to the front lines of politics.
That right. And here, Jane, what I meant about Article 13 and COPA law for kids who are disabled but are very intelligent, taking the video who give them a voice away from them and aid gating them. Not right. The only reason why I'm aid gating my video because the comments, and it's because of our stuff too. And check week stuff that I do talk about and more for adults than kids. So yeah. And or check week 100% of my audience is adults. But the thing is that COPA have gone too far and they're infringing on the right, and they can probably screw up the right for autistics too.
Barbara Alpert, Getty Images. As presidential hopefuls vie for voter support during an election season, they usually focus on specific, although often overlapping, demographic groups, including people of color, suburban women, and middle-class voters. Until this election, candidates have mostly overlooked disabled people as a crucial voting bloc. But the tides may be shifting ahead of the 2020 election, as some are recognizing the importance of the disability vote by centering disability rights in their platforms. Last week, former U.S. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Julian Castro released a comprehensive disability policy plan as part of his platform, promising people with disabilities dignified work, decent housing, quality education, affordable health care, to live independently and achieve self-sufficiency. His proposal comes on the heels of those released by Sen. Kamala Harris, DCA, in late August, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who released a plan to expand disability rights in early November. Other candidates, such as Sen's Bernie Sanders, IBT, Elizabeth Warren, DMA, and Cory Booker, DNJ, former Vice President Joe Biden, Montana Gov. Steve Bullock, former Rep. Joe Sestak, DPA, and author Marianne Williamson, include disability rights sections on their websites and have mentioned people with disabilities to varying degrees in their other policy plans. No GOP candidates have similar plans listed on their websites. Disabled people like Greg Braden, who co-founded the #CryptoVote movement with Alice Wong and Andrew Pulring, are welcoming the recognition. Part of this may be that some candidates are just treating this as a tick box of things you have to do when running for president. If it is, I'm okay with that, he told Rewire. News. It brings our community into the minimum bar of things people have to consider when they run, Braden added. Get the facts direct to your inbox. Want more Rewire? News. Get the facts direct to your inbox. Sign up. In past elections, candidates made some efforts to engage people with disabilities. When running in 2008, Barack Obama's campaign included a disability policy committee. In the 2016 campaign season, Hillary Clinton gave an entire policy speech on disability inclusion, featured people with disabilities at that year's Democratic National Convention, and included disability rights in her policy platform. But the notable attention from 2020 candidates, especially so early in the election season, comes as a welcome change. Pulring told Rewire. News that although he hasn't settled on a candidate yet, he is pleased that the community is a part of the conversation. While putting together #CryptoVote's list of candidates and links to all of their policy pages, I was very encouraged to see several top-tier candidates presenting disability platforms that, while different, are similar enough that any one of them would represent real progress for us. If they could all be combined into one agenda that includes all of their points, it would truly be comprehensive, he said. Most of these candidates' plans cover more ground, in more depth, and show pretty clear fingerprints from actual disabled people. Variation in the disability rights proposals isn't necessarily a bad thing, Rebecca Cockley, director of the Disability Justice Initiative at the Center for American Progress Action Fund, told Rewire. News. It's not all the standard cookie-cutter type. Instead, each candidate's platform or policy proposals are really centered on their campaign's interest and the passions of the candidate, she said. It's obvious that they know that we can save ourselves and have. The public recognition of disability issues from politicians follows decades of activism and organizing by disabled people who have long called for equal rights and treatment. Pulring thinks the new political attention comes, in part, as a natural maturing process. Disability activism is gradually becoming more organized and better connected to mainstream politics, he said.
Right.
One such example of recent political activism by disabled people is the protests held both at the U.S. Capitol and across the country in response to the GOP's attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act. If not for people with disabilities putting their bodies on the line and enduring countless arrests demonstrating the political power of the disability community, the U.S. healthcare system would have splintered even further. While disability rights activism is not new, the coverage these protests received was unprecedented, and, all the while, advocates were speaking for themselves en masse on social media, shifting the lens to bring the voices of those with disabilities to the front lines of politics. Cockley agrees, noting disability activism has led to significant change. Obviously leading off of the protest and activism surrounding the Affordable Care Act, repeated attacks on Medicaid, the public charge, the Kavanaugh fight, we saw frankly a different disability community. We saw a disability community transform beyond just fighting on traditional disability issues, Cockley said. Beyond releasing comprehensive disability policy plans, candidates are hiring people with disabilities to advise their campaigns. Perhaps the most important thing we have seen is candidates bringing in disabled staffers to advise their campaigns and inform their outreach, Braden told Rewire. News. Buttigieg was the first candidate to hire someone with a known disability, who he highlighted in a recent op-ed for BuzzFeed. Warren has also hired disabled staff. Cockley, who has advised candidates about disability policy and community engagement, appreciates the actual presence of people with disabilities as volunteers and staff on campaigns, which has proven that we're at the table and not willing to take a backseat. A number of candidates have reached out to us, and we have provided expertise where we can, and have also provided input on language, accessibility, and other critical things as it relates to meeting the needs of the disability community, she said. When #CryptoVote, a nonpartisan online movement, began during the 2016 election, its goal was to engage both voters and politicians in a productive discussion about disability issues in the United States, with the hope that disability takes on greater prominence within the American political landscape. Today, the movement has become a crucial part of elevating the disability voice in political discourse. In fact, during the October 15th Democratic debate, 1,597 individuals participated in a #CryptoVote Twitter chat, resulting in 3,807 tweets. Candidates are also starting to use social media to engage the disability community directly. Just last week, Castro held a Twitter town hall where disabled people were invited to ask questions, a first for the disability community. I would love to see more of the candidates engage directly, Braden said. Earlier this month, Braden, Wong, and Polring issued an open invitation to candidates from any party to join the disability community for a #CryptoVote chat to discuss disability policy. Some candidates have expressed interest, but nothing definite has been planned. Still, much work remains. Not every candidate has released a disability policy platform, and several candidates do not even include disability rights on their websites. Notably, a June report from Miami Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired found that none of the candidates' websites are fully accessible to people with disabilities. A follow-up review showed some progress, although no website meets all accessibility requirements, which include captioned videos for those who are deaf and hard of hearing and image descriptions for those who are blind or have low vision. On Wednesday, the candidates take the stage again for another Democratic debate. As they've done during prior elections, #CryptoVote will be live tweeting the debate and for fun, created a new bingo card for folks to play along, Wong said. As the election season continues, disabled people hope to see even greater engagement with the community moving forward. It's exciting to finally be treated like everybody else, Cockley said.
That's pretty good. Oh, and my fiance is on one right now. I'm going to try to call her, see if I can get her into the live stream. But yeah, I have to agree with that. Plus, there have been discrimination. You guys know I talk about that a lot on my live stream. On discrimination and a lot of stuff that happens. But yeah, it's crazy, but there's so much discrimination and ableistic stuff that happened to it. It ain't even funny. But there is another thing that I do need to bring up, and it's about narcissistic parent jamming their beliefs into their kids who are autistic, narcissistic and toxic parents who they didn't try to get their kid to believe it, or they're autistic adults or teens who are very smart, who know what they're saying is not true, and it's just crazy. I'll be honest, I deal with that on a daily basis with my mom. They tried jamming up that ain't true into my head. And I mean more emphatically.
There are many people around you going on with the infamous. It's all in your head. Come on, be stronger. I'm among the people more prone to say to you, I believe you. You have my support. Stay strong. Stay safe. Oncoming fist, red heart, 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 oncoming fist, oncoming fist, red heart.
Not from Clinton. Oh, but you gotta know he is a friend of mine, and I actually said to. But yeah, and for those people, happy holiday for Thanksgiving too, but I don't quit during the holiday. My voice go out. But what is going on? It's not right. And it need to get out there.
For tonight's action at a meeting centered around child abuse and domestic violence. Our goal was to get the attention to autistic and disability abuse, especially institutional and therapical abuse. Unfortunately, since it was too late for me, I could not stay. However, I had the opportunity to interact with a young victim of abuse and gaslighting. She was seated next to me and could feel through her tears and gesture that reviving the past through other people's stories was intense. I have learned that autists had the last word for the end of the event, and a friend of mine who had his deal of institutional abuse dared to speak up against this for this last word.
Mm-hmm.
I only wish to had the time to be here to see that. Congrats to you, friend. Raised fist, oncoming fist, clapping hands, raised fist, oncoming fist, clapping hands. Edit, I phoned him up and am even more proud to know he kind of feels stronger after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time for me. He said, not the last. Winking face, smiling face. Nothing about us with Autis.
Mm-hmm.
Autistic liberation.
Mm-hmm. We are fighting for our rights and our freedoms and to be treated equally. If we don't keep it up and let that do happen for our generation to come, won't know if we don't fight for them.
I have been prepping for this event, which is why I haven't been around. Being sick didn't help either, but I am back. Web links.
Let's check. And Agni Oddity, it back. I can't say it name properly. Fell autistic. See it back. Sorry, Agni. I did not mean to butcher your name if you wanted to. But she is also a friend of mine. But it very crazy, but she is finally back. Her and her son are both autistic too.
One autistic scout defying other leaders' doubts.
Mm-hmm.
My son, who is 10 years old, is autistic and has been a scout since he was 6 years old. He was semi-verbal until he was really involved with scouts. Most of my readers know I sing the praises of Boy Scouts of America for autistic children. This past weekend was an event called Scout Advancement Weekend, SAW. This was for Weblo's Arrow of Lights and Scouts BSA to earn pins or merit badges in one weekend. It includes camping with other units from the council. When signing up for this event last month, one leader, who is our advancement chair, did not want my son to go to SAW. Her reasoning was that he might get upset and no one would know how to calm him. I was there with my girls' troop. I was the next campsite over and I had to stop over to give him his medication twice a day. The committee chair was not worried at all. I sent him to prove of all the naysayers wrong, and I am so glad I did.
Mm-hmm. You're Jane. My mom still think I take my medicine, but I don't because medicating it is wrong. And I still deal with it with my mom. Literally. You don't know about it, but when I move to California, I'm going to quit taking that up. Because really, it's not harmful meds, but it's time for her to realize that way that she's thinking it bad. She need to realize that.
I was the typical nervous cub mom. I never had my kids camping without me. I was always the leader, but this was a first for me. My son had been in scouts with his friends and leaders since Tigers, so logically I knew he would be fine. Emotionally, I was a nervous wreck. He rode up to the camp with me and the older scouts.
Outside.
Cub Scouts met at the camp on Friday night. Before driving up, we met the rest of the boy and girl troop. He was able to eat pizza with the older scouts, which he loved. It gave him more exposure to the troop procedures, so he is better prepared for next year.
Mm-hmm.
The older boys and girls were so welcoming. We have the best troop.
There is a reason why autistic people prefer older people than people their age, because some of them treat up better than people who are around our age. The reason why is because for some people who are around our age, because they see it differently, they will bully us and treat us like an outcast. There are a reason why, and most people don't realize that. There are a reason why we prefer to talk to people older than us, who are maybe 4, maybe 2, maybe even a decade to 2 decades older than us. But there are a whole reason why.
So it does not surprise me. The girls and boys troop are separate troops, but they act like one. It's nice. After we arrived at camp, I was able to find both campsites. Since I was at camp, I was responsible for his medication, which was fine. All kids get medication at the same time. I just had to go hunting for my youngest there. The advancement chair has a loud mouth, so they were easy to find. I had to leave him with his leaders and friends. I had no choice but to trust him with his physical and mental well-being. I have to admit they were amazing with him. The advancement chair was staffed for the event, so she was not in contact with him that much. That I was thankful for. Because while I was at Wood Badge, she thought it was appropriate to scream in his face during a meltdown. He forgave her, but I didn't. She has known him from preschool. There was no excuse. The committee chair sent me a photo, the one above, of him climbing a wall with his other Cub Scouts cheering him on. I was told he had no fear and no hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
He just did it. He has been working on his coordination and upper body strength. I was crying happy tears. Was so proud of him. Every time I went to go check on him, he was with his friends having a fabulous time. Not one shutdown, not one meltdown, not one episode of anxiety. When I went to give him his medicine on Saturday night, one Cub Scout from another pack said, "Oh, you are on medication, are you hyper or something?" He was really talking down to my son. The other Cub Scout from my son's pack all chimed in on how amazing he did that weekend. Really shut him up. I could not be more proud of the other Cub Scouts in the pack.
Mm-hmm.
I am a den leader for the Scouts too young to be at this event. I have known these other Scouts for years. My son was smiling from ear to ear.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Scouts is about, standing up for what is right and knowing how to advocate effectively.
Mm.
This was a really positive experience for him, and I am really happy I did not listen to negative people. Trust your instincts. You know your child, but you have to let go a little bit so they can soar. He is going to be an Eagle Scout before I know it. One autistic scout defined.
But here, Jane, that is all syndrome because it's not true because if you think that way, you're checking like a narcissistic. If you think that way, like it's something that I talk about. There's something in my mind, but it's narcissistic in a way. Am I seeing narcissistic behaviors from people out there are just dangerous in my book? Because I've seen how it can affect autistics badly.
Don't feel ashamed and guilty because you are being culprit to society's eyes of experiencing autistic pride. On the contrary, be proud of yourself. Because that means you are challenging a narrative. A narrative that claims you are less, so you should intrinsically feel ashamed of it. By experiencing the exact opposite, you are not only placing yourself above these prejudices, but you are displaying power as someone meant, according to society, to be powerless because you should be miserable because you are disabled. You are a threat. A threat to a stigmatizing narrative that keeps you below. Red instead. Light it up, gold. Action.
That's true, and we deal with it on a daily basis.
Image description. AUT-ish neurodivergent logo on top left. Rainbow and white text on the right reads, "I think there should be more #neurodivergent LGBTQ plus people in Pride next year." Who's with me?
I have to agree with that.
Autism #actually autistic #.
because for people who are fans of my YouTube channel, you know I'm bisexual and autistic. So yeah, and I've been for a long time.
Corruption within the autistic community. Favoritism over loyal advocacy to excuse someone's bigotry because they are your pals and bless their ignorance while chastising those daring to address the core problem by dismissing them as woke scolder SJWs. Dishonest, false accusations of dogmatism when you are just giving fierce importance to apparent small details but with big consequences. This is one thing that truly angers me right now. Because for the last couples of weeks after a 2 years long experience with the community, I started witnessing in some people I used to believe to be decent, passionate, a strange, unsettling vibe until their rather reactionary deep self at one point showed up to the daylight. And that's pretty ugly. No, seriously, when I see some people ranting about that, I swear I have the impression of watching a whole Sargon long of anti-SJW bigot crowd. It's not only the reactionary vibe that infuriates me, but also the insufferable lack of nuance displayed by these people I once believed to be decent, nuanced pals. Man, how can we assume from the very start that if someone is being a SJW snowflake to not say they care deeply about something they dare to challenge up, the only motivation behind this is attention seeking? When in fact most people accused of such thing are just diligent advocates with principles who aren't scared of speaking an unpopular fact. There's one cognitive bias called reactance, which is a prompt reaction to someone's call out by doing the exact opposite of what is suggested and reinforcing it because we felt the call out as a personal attack on our freedom. I'll continue to say the R word as long as I want. You won't silence my freedom of speech. Many people I mentioned fall into that trap. Unamused face. And the fallacies. Oh, the logical fallacies. Person face palming male sign. Because someone is calling and that mean they are just attention seeking. Trial of intent fallacy. Why talk about PC terms? Why we don't talk about drug addiction and autism? What aboutism? Red herring fallacy. What a bunch of SJW crybabies. Straw man, appeal to ridicule, ad personam fallacy, etc. I'm not happy at all with this. It took me a long time to speak up about this problem because of the fact that it all seems so unpredictable and gangrenous that it can blow up at any time. Because of this, I have lost my trust in many people. I feel autistic spaces are infiltrated by people with noxious beliefs that hasn't being deconstructed but carried out with irresponsible words, and above all, no matter how long the process takes and how patient we are with them, just refuse to change because ignorance is bliss. I'm true.
But yeah, and here it's saying one of the culprits to cause it is narcissistic parent. Right, I said that I'm trying to argue it off. But there are narcissistic parents out there who will jam their beliefs in autistics. And that a train going by.
Truly
and another train going by
this.
too.
I'm telling you, I am not falling to that bull crap.
We have
I
train
stand my
meetup.
ground and won't betray my ideas for a bunch of big...
2 trains are going by. 2 of them.
Betray my ideas for a bunch of ignorant, unnuanced, irresponsible people who at worst are just absolute dipshits with no values. I haven't waited for a shift of paradigm as a proud autistic after being through so many shit in a living undiagnosed to come to this where I have to rub people in the same way as their biases and shitty idea. There is no way I'll sell myself like this to pleasing people in the way they want me to advocate for them. I owe them nothing. I speak, I deliver, they listen or refuse and leave, and at the end of the day there are people who have been deconstructed on so many things because they accepted to learn.
That right.
Quality of your followers over quantity. I end up gathering a 100 consistent, truthful allies with sometimes soul who need more time to unlearn some things, and that's already something done. I stand loyal to what I preach in the way I preach it. It pleases people or not.
Right.
Crimson out.
But yeah. But we did have 2 trains go by. But let me get to said that my fiance, and yet the link to my fiance YouTube channel down description down below if you guys want to go to her YouTube channel. But let's get to Jane and a 7-minute video she have.
Live version of Light of a Million Mornings. Heart soup needed help, don't ignore this post. Loudspeaker loudly crying face. Sorry to vent out, but I just can't stand the pain anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But still singing for the Lord. Disappointed face. Prayers needed. Performing opportunities for a soloist part.
Mm-hmm.
Autism talent. # Christmas time. # attention. # listen.
It's evident that my fiance Val is going through right now. Well, I understand. Let's get to her.
I'm sorry to keep my spirits up because I'm a bit overwhelming on what's happening to me right now. Wait for a minute. There. Oh yeah. Ring lights for Val. What's
my
really
fiance.
bothering me is when I lose the chance to share my message. And I got a bit frustrated because singing one of the most precious songs that really changed my life was not gonna happen anymore. But sorry if I publicized it because this is how I really feel. It's not really bad to express how you guys feel, right? So give me time if I may give a bit your time to make an effort. Yeah. Never sing. It says never sing never. It says
That my fiance Val with hurts up, but yeah. No. But that is my fiance Val. Let me. But that. Oh boy. It's a little. Some part of the video are lagging. Sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna have to check why because it's up with my phone been going odd lately, but the video shuttered there and I fast forwarded a little bit to try to get it off. Because that do happen. But yeah. It's crazy, but that happened suddenly lately. I don't know why, but yeah. But it's happened. Oh, here's up and it don't involve my fiance Val, but it do involve something that I do talk about a lot, if you guys remember.
It's time to declare war to ABBA in France. I'm so impatient for this. No to ABBA. Web links.
Mm-hmm. And my friend Crimson Outlet, he is French and he is a fellow activist. And yeah, I already know I did talk about him a few minutes ago, but
great news. A meeting is organized today during this Wednesday's evening centered around abusive methods to treat autism in France.
mm-hmm.
Packing and seclusion would be discussed, but most importantly, it must be the first time ABBA, which is usually always praised in the French discourse, would be tackled this evening as something problematic. To me, it is clear that it is time to attack.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to all of your resources, I know which angle of attack I'll take to expose this practice. In regard to ABBA in France, I also have my own resources exposing ABBAers' lies to sell their BS, plus some direct witnesses who have seen it in structures which ABBA publicity had already been debunked by me. I'll be there at 6:15 p.m. with members of the _autists. Banaba. Yes, Alaba. Actually autistic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's the reason why. Okay, now we can play the video. No.
This is how I really feel. It's not really bad to express.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
So,
video
give me time
is 7
if
minutes,
I
but it was
may
sudden.
give a bit your time to make an effort. Yeah. Never sing. It says Never say never. Says
But here my fiance about to sing. The video is 7 minutes, but the 5 minutes are her, singing in a beautiful piano.
see the sunshine through the shadows. I can't seem to find the song to carry. It's timeless time. You touch me with your heart. And when I looked, my light was the sound of angels sang my song. The warmth of our love so tender touched my life and suddenly light over million mornings dawned in
And do it again.
If I try to understand the sunrise, I only know it takes away the dark. I can't explain the healing or all the joy I'm feeling. I only know you've come into my heart. The light of million mornings in my heart. The sound of forbidden angels set my song.
So that my fiance singing.
Touch my life and suddenly the light of a million mornings dawned in me. And now that your glory has come shining through, let my life be a candle, Lord, that shines for you. Shines for you. Shines for you. The light of a million mornings
Beautiful,
fills
so
my
beautiful.
heart.
Sorry about that, guys.
So far, it's
Bluetooth mode.
sorry, that's my best version. Hope you guys like it.
But that was my fiance Val with her singing. But I do have a lot of stuff here, but I won't get to all of it because you gotta know I did it yesterday in my video vlog. When I get that application fully completed and do the Jane for it, and if I do get some, I don't know if I will or not. If I do, my dream will be wonky, but some episodes are probably going to have to be about 30 minutes or about 40 minutes or less. And they'll be probably during the week too, because, excuse me, to help, but yeah. But it's something that I am doing to help, but yeah. But I'm doing it to help. Why is there all noise coming from my plug chain where I plug up on my sub pad? I've been doing it for almost 2 years. Weird, but yeah. But the thing is that we get discriminated against a lot, and I need to get my voice out there, but also I need to make money to help with extra stuff when it comes time for the move. But yeah, by 3 to 4 weeks from now, I'll be starting to pack up everything. So, week before Christmas, I'll be starting to pack up stuff, put it in boxes, and probably a big box too. Now, the drawers and stuff are not coming with me, but everything else, that even my screen TV, my laptop, everything will be coming with me. Even my model railroad stuff. But yeah. A little tired. But yeah. Even though it's Saturday night. But my dogs are already sleeping. Mimi and Buddy on the floor. I don't have them on the bed because last time I had them sleep on the bed, or technically in the old house, how I ended up getting fleas in the bed, and that was not fun. But yeah. But Jane is that I don't want to get fleas in my bed or bug. But yeah. But it's crazy. Now we get to the last scene of my fiance before we call it a day. But yeah, now I'm probably gonna have to make another one to get everything set up for when. But it doesn't involve my fiance Val, and it's amazing.
Great news. A meeting is organized today during this Wednesday's evening centered around abusive methods to treat autism in France.
That was something I've already talked about. Sorry about that, guys. Now I meant for my fiance Jane. Now let's go to her for the last Jane. But we finally have everything.
Let's get it on, my friends, as we propagate, or in a simpler word, advocate the art of sharing that cares everyone's needs. You are cordially invited to watch and be part of MUSICARITAS 2, Gloria, featuring the works of Antonio Vivaldi's Gloria and David Wilcock's Carols. Cantus is humbly grateful to perform these works with our guest performer, the Manila Symphony Junior Orchestra. This concert is for the benefit of Philippine Cerebral Palsy, Inc. Admission is free. For more information about our group and performances, like and follow our page. Web links. See you on November 30th, 2019. Cantus hashtag Musicaritas hashtag Gloria.
That in 7 days from now. It's actually a 6th day in her country. But yeah. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I hope you guys found it educational, motivational, all the above, and find it a way to give it a voice and keep fighting and moving on. And I hope everybody able to get their voice out there and to speak their voice. I really do. And I hope we keep on moving on and keep on speaking it. I really do. And I hope everybody had a great week. I hope everybody having a great weekend. And I hope everybody having a great Saturday night. I really do. And I hope everybody looking forward to spending time with family for Thanksgiving and having a good time. But yeah, now I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys later. Signing out. Bye, guys.